Okay, so I just got done watching episode 20 of King-Ohger, and overall it's a pretty good episode. I definitely got a kick out of it. The fight between Gira and Racules was really freaking cool. Had some really cool fight scenes and fight choreography in that episode. But not only that, after watching this episode, I'm wondering where the show is going to go moving forward, from a plot point and from a writing point moving forward. Because episode 20 brings an end to Racules being the king, and Gira is now taking over his spot. So we've had this long story arc where Racules was going to get dethroned and Gira would eventually become the king. And that storyline comes to a conclusion in this episode where Gira is now the rightful king of that country. And not only that, there was also some other twists that we learned in this episode that just came out of nowhere. Now, I am wondering where the show is going to go moving forward after this episode, because if you don't know, within 2 weeks we're getting the summer movie, and if I remember correctly, when Don Brothers hit its 20s on the episode, we got a few wacky, silly episodes going on, but not only that, after like episode 25 or 26, I know it was after the clip show finale, the fake finale clip show, they went right back to the serious stuff after that. So I'm wondering if the next few episodes of King-Ohger are going to be wacky and silly, and then after the, like within the next couple of weeks or a month or so, we're going to get right back to the serious episodes and to the plot. So I'm wondering if we're going to have like some episodic adventures that are still going to be serialized with a few plot threads weaved in there, or we're just going to keep that serialization of the show moving forward. Because I feel like King-Ohger might be an interesting spot within the next couple of weeks moving forward with what episodes we get, because it looks like Gira is going to be the king now, but next week's episode looks like it's going to be wacky, silly, goofy fun. So I wonder where the show is going to go moving forward after this episode. So without any further ado, let's talk about this week's episode. So the episode opens up on a wedding where Racules and Suzumi are finally getting married, and because Dabowski and Racules are now brother-in-laws, Racules is like, hey, if you'd be a cool brother-in-law, you'd give me that lance, because I've got the crown, I just need the lance, so that way I can put Gira in his place. And Dabowski's like, sure thing, bro, anything for family now. We're cool now, dude. And while this is going on, Gira is put in jail, and the whole reason why he's put in jail is because Rita says, hey, now that the secret's out that you're alive the whole time, you're still regarded as a traitor, so unfortunately I've got to put you back in jail. And Gira's like, okay, but I'm going to beat Racules and we're going to have a duel and stuff like that. So we got that going on. So after that, we then meet up with Beauchemin, you know, the other retainer guy that Racules has around him. He's been missing for a couple of episodes and he's finally back. But he tells Racules that he was doing something, he was hiding probably on the shitter while this was all going down, and Racules is like, oh, you got a lot of guts to show your ugly rear while everything was going on, because you were missing while we were being invaded. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll make it up to you. And Racules is like, hey, if you really want to prove yourself to me, you'll get me that lance, because if you don't get me that lance, I'm going to get rid of you, because I don't have a need for a tool I can't use. So he makes that threat against him. And what we get later is really interesting, which is something we'll touch upon later on in this review. So Gira and Racules eventually have their duel, and it's a really, really freaking cool duel. And it moves really fast. I mean, it starts off in that arena where they start fighting, and they've got their demands where Racules wants Gira exiled, and Gira wants to have the throne, so they've got those demands if they win. And like I said, it's a really freaking cool fight, especially when they take it to the quarry, and that's when we get to see some really good, like, Sentai stunt work in action here with the fights. I mean, Gira goes all out in this fight, and he's able to hold his own against Racules transformed with the crown, although he doesn't have the lance, so it's not at its full power. But even so, Gira is able to hold his own against Racules, and he's able to like grab his caliber and dual wield with it, which is something that's really cool. Like, he turns into like a Darth Maul lightsaber and starts beating the shit out of Racules. And while this is going on, you've got this shopkeeper, I think they're a shopkeeper, but this older bold guy, he's cheering for Gira, and Hat Guy's like, oh, why are you cheering for Gira? He's a jerk. And the bold guy goes, well, Gira is the only one who came to save us when the invasion was going on. He came out of being dead and fought the Bugnarok for us when Racules wasn't doing anything. So he's got that support going on. So then you get a comedic scene where like there's loud shouting about which side they're cheering for. Now while this is going on, you do have the Bugnarok showing up, you've got the Grunt showing up, there's a cool fight scene where they try fighting him off, and then we run into Jeremy. He's got the lance with him, and then the lance is stolen by Bushemir, and Bushemir makes his way to the frickin' battlefield, and you have this scene where he's charging at Gira with it, looks like he's going to take him out, but it doesn't work, and it's one of Jeremy's illusions. But this brings on an even bigger reveal that I honestly didn't see coming, although they probably pulled this out of their ass last minute as a twist. I don't know if the hints are there. They probably are if you look close enough, but this came out of nowhere. I don't want to call it an ass-pull twist, but I'm sure that if you pay attention, that the hints are there. So it's revealed that Bushemir is actually the right-hand man of Defnarok. Prime Minister, what's his name? The guy with the staff. Apparently, he's been working with Racules the whole time, a spy. And that makes sense when you think about it a couple of episodes ago, because you only saw Duga, like the tall, thin one, in the courtroom during that time. Like, you didn't see the other one. So, that makes sense. But I wonder if you go back and watch older episodes of King-Ohger, like, why you never see, like, the other dude and the other guy in the same room at the same time. So, that's something. But it makes sense when you think about it. Like, the Bugnarok always seem to attack at a certain time and stuff like that. So, that's that twist taken care of. That's that twist that we get in the episode. But Racules' face that he makes when he finds out that, like, his servant was a spy the whole time, like, he's mad. He gives this big death stare. But Racules then ends up going on this big speech because it's broadcast, because during their first fight, the cameras were shut off, so no one really got to see how that fight went down in the end. But this time, Racules' dickheadness, him being a tool and calling other people tools, gets out there. Like, his public opinion is quickly changed as how he views the kingdom is seen to the public eye, and they're very quick to disown him. Even Hat Guy disowns him really quickly and becomes a Gira cheerleader. So we've got that in this episode. So I'm glad that Racules' scandalous ways, or his dickhead-ish ways, are finally brought to the public, that Racules is not a good dude, and now the people of his kingdom have now seen it. So, like I mentioned earlier, Gira, with the power-up of the crown and the lance, is able to get the win over Racules, but we don't see what happens to him after that. He gets knocked off a cliff, but there's no explosion, he just falls, and that's about it. So, I get the feeling that Racules is going to disappear for a couple of episodes, and then he'll resurface again. So, it looks like Racules is going to be missing in action for the next couple of episodes moving forward, and no doubt about it, I'm guessing like within the 30s or something like that, or even like the late 30s or even 40s near the end game, he'll make his appearance again. And we'll definitely be seeing him much sooner. Unless he got his flowers. People were telling me, oh, I checked Twitter, he got his flowers. I haven't checked Twitter yet. I wanted to be spoiler-free, so I don't know if he got his flowers yet. But yeah, Gira's able to win, and now he's the rightful king of the country, which is pretty freaking cool. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. Like, everyone cheers for Gira, he's welcomed in as the king, and we don't know what's going to happen moving forward. I mean, I watched next week's episode preview, looks like wacky fun, but like I mentioned at the start of the review, I feel like the next couple of episodes are going to be pretty easy breezy moving forward, and they're going to be wacky, silly fun with some serialized plot threads thrown in there. But because they were probably filming the movie at the same time around these episodes, they're probably not going to be too, like, balls to the wall crazy. So I am curious to see what the episodes are going to do moving forward after this one. Like, I get the feeling we're going to have some breather episodes, and then we're going to jump straight back into, like, the story arcs we've been having ever since the show began. But overall, this was a really solid episode. I really enjoyed it, really got a kick out of it, really awesome fights, and I can't wait to see where the show is going to go moving forward after this one. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this episode of King-Ohger? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. That one guy who asked me what would you rate this episode, even though I really don't do ratings, I'd say I give this a 9 out of 10. or a 10 out of 10 even. I really got a kick out of this episode, and I really enjoyed it, so I can't wait to see where the show is going to go moving forward. After this episode, like I said, the status quo has changed in the King-Ohger universe, so I'm wondering what the writing and the storytelling is going to do moving forward after this episode. Will the show take a small nosedive, or will it stay consistently good? We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, I think I'll catch you guys later. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care, and bye!